Hello and welcome to Art Time with Miss Anderson. Here is the final paper curl video. At this point, I already shaded the majority of it, just coming in to add these final touches, just like right here, where I'm taking my light pencil and using it to define the edges. This is a step you want to do last, along with shading the background. I've defined that edge, and now I'm coming in to shade the background, which, especially looking at it from farther away, looking at it in video form or picture form, you can really see that background value start to carve the image out of the atmosphere. Taking a sharp pencil and adding in those nice hard final lines, they're not really outlines, they're more like refining the shadows you've already created. Also, taking this chance to refine those shadows. In this case, fading this shadow out. It looked a little hard. It didn't truly look like it was curving around a paper curl. Using my lighter pencils to my middle pencils to help make that transition over what I have already done. The trick in making your final touches here is not to be afraid to use your pencils to shade over what you've already done and just make these little minor transitions that really make your final pop. Closely observing by looking at your photo or whatever's in front of you if you're drawing it from life, closely observing what you actually see, fixing your eyes on the picture, the image, the life, to see what the value comparisons are. So the interesting thing about value drawings is we compare the values to themselves, not necessarily to the original image. So I know that there's a core shadow in about 3 places on my paper curl. Are all 3 of those core shadows the same dark? So right now, finishing up the edge of this paper curl, there's also a sense of, does this look right or not? So right now, turning it around so I can get the angle, that nice flat angle. Yeah, also see the video. Get that nice flat angle of this one, the part of the curl that's coming out in front. Noticing there's a light shadow underneath that, fading in the lines I already made, using my powers of observation to continually glance back and glance back and glance back at the image, at the paper curl. In this case, we used a photo, but I've also drawn this from life before as well. So now coming along and working the rest of the image, working the image as a whole. So which parts of the background have I not shaded? Do my core shadows all match? Always going in that sort of cycle. Although we put in most of our midtones, at this point, we're really working our dark tones, our light tones, our background, and our cast shadow. So we've already put in most of our midtones. We're working our dark tones, our light tones, our cast shadow, and that fine defining line that carves everything out from the background. So just carving the edge of that paper curl out, carving the edge so that it becomes something that stands out from the background, a 3-dimensional reality. Now the background can be fuzzy, but we want the paper curl itself to look as if it is that defined object. Now, closely observing that cast shadow to give it that final touch. It already has a cast shadow, right? So here I'm using, I call it the Disneyland trick. What you see in cartoons, they actually kind of take and there seems to be an outline, a loose, soft outline on the shadow. But I'm using the edge of my pencil to do that because it's not a hard outline, because it's a shadow. It's not an object. It's a trick of the light, a play of the light. Continuing to refine up those edges, continuing to make those final observations, glancing all over the image as a whole. What you will notice is on the final image, The core shadows are repeated in different spots in the image. When you look at it, it seems as if there is a true background and that the light and the angles of the light make sense and we can see it as a whole, a three-dimensional object in reality.